Today we're going to make a basic short crust pastry. So the first thing, set our scales to 0. There we go, and we're going to add 220 grams of plain flour. That'll do. And then we're going to add a pinch of salt. And then we are going to add 100 grams of butter. You can use margarine. There's no problem at all with that. It makes very nice pastry, but we have butter. Don't use spreading margarine though. Do use baking margarine like stalk, baking block type thing. Just cut that. The temperature, it should be slightly below room temperature. You can do it straight from the fridge. You want to avoid it just melting too much. This is actually getting a little bit warm. As you can see, it's a bit softer than, it's not really breaking up into the chunk size I cut. Then get rid of the scales, and we're going to crumble it by rubbing the butter and the flour between the tips of our thumbs and the tips of our fingers, like that. So if you just start by coating the lumps, it stops them melting when you touch them. Then you start squishing them into the flour, or squishing the flour into the butter, whichever way around you want to do it. And then you just push them across your fingertips. The reason why you're only using your fingertips is you're trying to keep the butter as cool as possible. You want to keep them away from the butter, away from your palms, because your palms are the warmest part of your hands. And the butter will melt, and we do not want that. So we're nearly there, I think. Don't think I can see any more in there. These are all just crumbling away. What you should end up with is a slightly buttery coloured mixture that looks like breadcrumbs, like that. That's pretty much what we're after. And these lumps hopefully should just be little lumps of buttery flour. So then, oh, that was a bit of butter, I think. Then what we're going to do is we are just going to bring it together now with a little bit of water, a very little bit of water. So just really, you've got to be very cautious at this stage. I use my hand like a mixer, like a little claw. And it's always worth remembering, you can always add, but you cannot take away. So be cautious with the amount of water you put in. All right, a little bit more. Don't be tempted to do this at the tap, because it is very easy to overshoot. Okay, a little bit more. So what we're aiming for is something that we can bring together into a ball, a nice smooth ball of pastry. Here we go, this is nearly there now. But don't try and bring it together into a ball until you've got enough moisture in the pastry to do that. That's very close. But I'm going to say, I think that needs a tiny, tiny little bit more. Tiny bit. There we go. That's good. Right. So now you can feel that's getting just the right level of sticky. And then it'll start coming together really nicely into a ball. Just scoop up these last few crumbs. And all you've got to do is give it a squish. What you want to see when you put it in a ball is you don't want to see cracks in it. So, because what you've got to remember is you want to be able to roll it out without it cracking when you come to make whatever you're making. So there you go. So if you look at that, that should roll out really nicely. There you go. One nice ball of dough, pastry rather, and then all we have to do is put it in the fridge. Now in order to do that, I'm going to put it in some cling film. It can go in the fridge for about, well, a minimum of about 15 minutes. But remember, when you put it in the fridge, before you need to roll it out, you need to get it out of the fridge in good time to let it come back up to room temperature, because otherwise it'll be a horrible hard lump and very difficult to roll out. There you go.